with Maluk setting up some utility to help them get in. Boomich tries to get up close and gets caught.
Caught straight away, and PRT will punish him. So a great start for Team 1. As another bullet has been put in. This time it's simple. flamie also exploding out of connector. Takes off the head of malbs and goes in for seconds. He's also got a point to prove. There's been a lot of debate, a lot of criticism coming his way. Maluk with the Glock puts down one.
One seems to be getting in position, but we see some aggression coming perhaps from Electronic.
Yeah, Electronic gets up ramp, gets one, but that's probably not going to be good enough. As the team looks to spill out, the bomb's actually been dropped down. Someone has to go and get that. And this is where the time could very well start to play a piece in
Their target.
Flash through, boom, it's fully flashed, can't see anything, and finally it's finished off by malbs. 22 seconds to play with. Only the first piece has been removed, and there's still Perfectro and flamie on the A side. Actually, all four now of the CTs are moving into position, and it seems that Team 1 are just way too slow. Finally getting some head of steam with a couple of frags by their side. Electronic is burning alive, but the bomb will get denied. And with the bomb denial in effect, the round will slip away. AK on skullz, and malbs has picked himself up. One flashbang is good. Doesn't allow the teams much safe passage. Finally, though, they have taken the head of Perfectro and run away with it. Simple. And boomich now tipping him for frags, and flamie stuck on the side just sprays through. It seems so disjointed for Team 1. Like, they're not really pushing through together. They're now stuck in an awkward position with a deagle and an AK, and PRT has no Kevlar behind the AK. It's looking incredibly difficult for Team 1 to get any more kills, let alone the round from this point.
Yeah, it seems like this is pretty much a done deal unless PRT just pops off. Does have the time, but he is stuck. They know exactly where he is. In that slower pace style that they're already kind of naturally trying to play, but they're not really giving them other options to pick up the pace, and that's the strength of having a good, strong CT economy. Good trade, though, at Inner might open something up for Team 1.
30 seconds, bomb spilled, but retrieved, and now a beeline across to the side, but Simple and Perfecto are just shutting it down. No real hope. They even have the bomb across to the site, and to be fair to Pesadelo, he's done a decent job of picking off the head of Perfecto, and may very well get a bomb plant for his troubles, so at least gets that reward, but Simple quickly snatches his life away, as is so often the case, and it's a successful retake for NaVi, and a 6-1 lead.
Yeah, something's going to have to give here soon from Team 1, and the problem is it's tough to make adjustments now on the T side, because with the CT economy flowing like this, it was there, again, trying to gather up some utility and make a bit of a push here towards Inner. They're blocking off Cloud, so Simple can't get the free op shot, and they're going to try to get in here.
Electronic and Simple, though, the tag team duo, once again reigning supreme. Open M4 in hand, Simple has the cross cover, it actually misses his shot uncharacteristically. It may give them a chance at a post plant, but considering they have no flashes or smokes to burst out of there with, there's already incendiary been put down to deny the fast plant. It's not looking good for the Brazilians again. Maluk, though, threads the headshot onto Electronic, does alleviate a little bit of the pressure, but there's also a flank element coming in. Boomich is wrapping around the back. If they push out, Simple has them. If they stay in position, Boom should be able to devour them whole with the AK. And indeed he shall. It's had another couple of casualties, but NaVi will not care.
Yeah, that's the problem with like the stalling tactics that NaVi are imposing upon Team 1, is it's making it to where they already have everyone in place for the retake before it would really be even considered
Is not to push through and to actually back away instead.
Yeah, they're still getting stalled out, though, on some of these choke points. Now Electronic has found skullz trying to do that lurk in inner yard, which he's tried to do a couple of different times on some of these outer hits. This time, it's been exposed early. flamie still has this angle towards Ivy. That's PRT down, and once again, the herd is being thinned. Only malbs left. I don't have the timeline in front of me here, but it just does seem like these rounds have been absolutely dominant. Does make it hard to try to implement some faster tactics, but you have to feel at some point you just have to try to force your way through it and see if it works, because playing the slow spread out style while you've gotten picks here and there, you've never been able to capitalize. Now this round, they once again get a 4-4 and they get a post plant kind of quickly, but they have so many low health players, and they get just on this flank, and he's absolutely blindsided Maluk, and it looks like this round's already pretty much taken care of for NaVi.
Well, skullz with 2 kills and 26 ADR will be hoping to add quite a bit to that mark. Does get it done, but it was a scrappy frag onto Perfecto. Realistically needed the insta-1 dig to stand a chance. NaVi, another successful defuse on the B site. And you know, they've been playing against some very stiff opposition. You got to
Sure.
put that in perspective, you know. And yes, it's been a rough group stage thus far. As Maluk gets a really nice shot into flamie, so at least gives them something to play with. But now Electronic's going to get into box halls. 2 players there waiting for him. Should be going down the second he peaked.
And ladder not committed.
Making so much noise. Boomich could hear them both from a mile away. Plus, when he peeked up Pop Dog, he saw the bomb was there. So even though he didn't get the frag and wasn't picked off himself, it was information. Now, I think NaVi may be overthinking this one as they're rotating both players onto A site. Or are they? Because Team 1 are now starting to come out onto A as well. And Simple, Perfecto is still alive. Simple flicks across to take down Pesadelo, and they've just nullified Maluk. That's the bomb that drops with him. They don't even have to go for frags anymore. There's not enough time. Team 1 have utterly
Paused. They traded 1-for-1 on Boomich, so now it's like a 4-on-2. They had access to enter, bomb was tucked ladder, and they just didn't commit together and got picked apart.
That's just going to kill. You're already getting battered, losing an advantage like that. Not going to fare too much the opportunity to slither away you back in.
No, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, though, Vince, is when NaVi are playing this forward style of
Paints a molly, a flash, and a HE as they look to push their way in. Excellent entry from malbs. That's more like it, but they get shut down on Boots and Simple as well. Boots now sprays in for 2 more. He's burning alive, but it's completely worthwhile. And although Pesadelo's picked up the bomb and he's trying to traverse across to the site, even if he does get a post plant coming up, I don't fancy his chances against Simple and flamie on ops. Now, if the 1v1 goes his way, maybe there was a chance, but flamie has taken that away with authority, and 13-1 falls in.
Yeah, it's just another round where we get the same result, maybe
Full circle. Will he get the first in the final round and a half? Nope. Electronic just straight through on B site and destroys Pesadelo. skullz goes not long afterwards. And although PRT has chipped in with a frag, it's too little too late. Although he has got 2 now. So maybe they can end the half in winning ways. Electronic is waiting and biding his time in Pop Dog, but a secondary smoke is there to deal with him, and malbs goes in for another one. Simple has been put down.
There's a chance here for the remaining members, perhaps, of T1. All on flamie now, 1 versus 2. Low health, though, on both these players does give flamie a chance, especially if he can land this HE grenade. Now, the bomb has been evacuated through the solid call, but there are some ways back into the round here for NaVi based on that health discrepancy on a couple of the players.
Maluk, though, puts the headshot in perfectly and a second to follow up. Electronic has to clutch a 1-on-5 with 20 seconds and no... Flashbang out of main. skullz, a weakened Perfecto up against him, but still couldn't quite thread the headshot. And Pesadelo, he's looking for a potential player up there in Pop Dog, but nothing's going to be forthcoming. Elsewhere on A site, 33 seconds left. NaVi have to start pressing forward. Push the accelerator down to the ground, but PRT with the spray onto Boomich has 2 kills, make it 3 in quick succession. Come down and put NaVi into a 1-on-4. It is simple, but really not looking too great for him. Maluk just instantly wide swings the angle.
Really choke people into these angles and not really give them any vision or give them any initial space to get to Olaf or E-Box or really start setting up that outer execute without taking damage or taking an unfavorable angle. So they have been stalled out. Electronic, though, with the late lurk through Ivy, those 2 kills change everything.
Oh, and now Simple can just get them as the chaos descends onto the site. They try and turn their tail around towards Ivy, and Simple pounces from Pop Dog. But that's all Electronic. That double spray is the key to unlock the round. And this is always the issue, and one that we discussed extra up.
Yeah, if I'm NaVi, I wouldn't be chasing too much here. Their funds are actually still fairly low. And you don't want a situation where you get...
NaVi go in with consecutive rounds. Same start for Simple. Tries to get into Pop Dog. The spray through the smoke is sublime, and skullz spilled down. Electronic now just takes the initiative, pushing straight through Ivy. Boomich deals with Pesadelo, who tries to get aggressive towards main. Desperation plays coming in. At least they have won that trade over an Ivy sliders.
Tough 1v2 now all of a sudden.
Feels like he's about to get swept in from Pop Dog from malbs, but malbs doesn't peek in. Again, because of his low HP, maybe very cognizant of that. And there's the wide swing from Maluk. Team 1 just about hold on for dear life. A post plant will afford NaVi some. We have Pesadelo's watching. PRT's also keeping his eye over on the main side as Perfectro comes out. But the picks go the way of NaVi. The two entries go the way of the T's. And suddenly Team 1 on the back foot again. There's 40 seconds to try and hold on, but that flashbang is on point. malbsMd has to slightly turn his attention elsewhere. That allows the T's to now spill up into the open. But malbs may have the nuts position, hiding in the smoke, waiting for some more bullets to be barraged out towards the side. But malbs is going to try and take this one away. And although Perfectro's got one, he has to try and connect the dots a little bit further. malbs down to 16 speed. There's only 18 seconds.
Perfectro just gives his life away for free there. Luckily, there's still economy left for NaVi. Simple's already got an opening pick as well over towards the aggression at inner, and they might find another. Indeed, they do. malbs gets caught this time around. He's been testing that position a few times. He's been successful. At that time, he's been caught, and now inner is wide open for NaVi.
And they still have Electronic on the lure. Pesadelo needs kills. Gets one, but at great cost.
Actually going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel here from Team 1. I mean, yeah, it is going to be final round of regulation, potentially, so they're going to get what they can, but it's going to be kind of slim
now for the CTs, but maybe they can mount a comeback. Perfectro says no, resoundingly puts the bullet in the head of Pesadelo, but then overstays his welcome, pushes out and is punished by skullz. Now, they may be able to get their hands on that rifle as well, and they're going to try and deny this form of boomich, who comes out with the Galil. Double spray in from Popdog, and PRT and malbs can do little but try and hold on with their Deagle and M4. Only 2 flashes to accompany them, and our mollies, smokes, and more importantly, AK round.
A really odd passage of play there. Electronic, though, seems to be keeping his eye out for pushes in the lobby and outside. boomich, in the meantime, does get his opening pick. Pesadelo does get caught out here behind the double stack. He's good for 1, but immediately traded, which is great news for NaVi, who now have control of lower site. They have the 4-on-3. They have PRT low on HP, and now the bomb is down.
Bomb is down. 3 players remain, but PRT is a bullet away from death. skullz and malbsMd, try as they may, have got to try and rummage a path outside of these close-knit claustrophobic angles, and they're already watching at the top side as well. skullz spots Simple, takes him down, pivots back in. Player in decon is low and has now been fragged out. Smoking off the double doors. They've got a smoke that they can put down and potentially get that defuse kit in. Tons of utility, taking no prisoners on this A hit, but the flashbang does yield the first frag. PRT actually spins around, pivots in for a second one, and skullz posted up in heaven, rains down some. That's another rifle that trades hands, and this rifle is completely and utterly gone smashed across the rocks dust. Like, unless Simple can, you know, there is a lack of pressure, and if you do get battered in the first map, it's sort of whatever, it's par for the course. Electronic, though, straight through, gets one, instantly traded back, and Pesadelo gets the better of boomich.
Mostly from flamie's end. The rest of NaVi still gathered up inside lobby position. flamie trying to sneak through towards mini. He's been caught, however, so now they're limited on the angles they can take as they do come into upper. Simple gets a great headshot there, and now all of a sudden, NaVi actually have a little bit of hope, Vince.
Yeah, most of the CTs have funneled their way off A site, so 2 players coming up lobby and 1 in heaven. 20 seconds could prove to be the final nail in the coffin, though, because one area will go unchecked. Simple, 1-on-3, 12 seconds to his name, and there is
soon.
That's a very good point. They've really turned the screws onto NaVi. boomich already down. Finally, they get another purchase in. Instantly weakened. Electronic spray on point. 2 players fall to his wake. And the AK opens up outside control. flamie, an important duel up against PRT, and he comes out ahead. Aggression, the courage to go in the first place, but also the clarity to pull the plug when he knew the round was done. A bit of damage across, and again, NaVi's economy not
for somewhat favors NaVi as the defense might get spread a bit thin, but malbs has a great position here. It's going to come down to timing. He does get caught, but he's not finished off, and indeed he will return
to plant on. And they're doing their due diligence, just locking down these angles, molotoving off the double doors. malbs gets
have to do with certainly the added step on top of victory that they needed there to really start mounting the comeback here on their T-side nuke, and so solid round there.
Take this, they can really start to steamroll ahead. They're going to be getting straight onto the site. That's the weakened spray from Electronic, who is flashbang through, but flamie makes the most of it. Takes down malbsMd straight afterwards. boomich gets a flash to the face, and he has to pull the plug. So a 1-for-1 trade, but again, outside control is falling the way of the T's. This time, though, a secret player has made a move in, but Pesadelo's head has been removed.
Now they have the 4-on-3. PRT does get aggressive in lobby, does get one, but not going to get out of there. Great response from NaVi to understand the situation and get that one back. Well, they expect another defense.
They do. Simple's watching it. He's seen the script. He's been there so many times. malbs does get the death from above. 28 seconds to play with and instantly dips down into ramp. He's got a perfect read of the situation. This is a clutchable round now for malbs, but he may have missed his chance. Open trying to start the later time. Still somehow alive, but
wants to just try to stop them from getting back Hall's control.
Goes in, and Pesadelo puts it down center map.
Yeah, that was really good Molotov use just to clear out a lot of these little corners and angles to get them a little bit of space. boomich now, they're just going to try to force a play towards upper.
Entries, they need them right now. flamie could be the man for the job. It's Simple with the AWP that runs straight out. 15 seconds to play with. They still need to get across to the site. And their skullz, double spray, and Simple is making a beeline for the site downstairs. It will be post-plant, but 30 HP to his name. 1-on-4 coming up against him. Vents, the first player comes in. No scoped out of his boots is skullz, but fortunately maluk was there to avenge his fallen teammate. 6-6.
Big round victory for Team 1, and they did it relatively clean. Only losing 2 players on the round, so they'll be able to save some weapons, start building up.
Team 1, though, the bulk of these last 4 or 5 have certainly been NaVi's, but maluk up close, gets 1 nearly seconds. Unfortunate not to land the shot onto Perfectro, but skullz comes in, and malbs with the fast flank. Puts down Simple enough to make something happen outside of Squeaky. flamie comes back in, big headshot delivered on. Pesadelo has the angle covered though, and flamie never really had a chance. Electronics had a bit of a quiet game so far, down on 5 frags and 49 ADR. He, alongside Electronic, have been eerily quiet here on Nuke. And this has been very indicative of NaVi as of late. Their T sides have struggled, their CT sides have looked rock solid. I suppose that's something to put in the back of your mind as they go for the vent dive. The timing was against PRT, but malbs is already in there. They'd read this situation so many times. NaVi in the first 5 rounds were vent diving almost every single round. So it's a great rotation, great read from Team 1.
Yeah, them getting these opening picks gives them a lot more flexibility on how they move across the map the rest of the way. But that's a great little bait jump out for Simple being an op shot there onto maluk. The problem is that they're not getting any more.
It's really only flamie that's been shining bright. But expect NaVi to have a very different go of it when their roles are reversed. And speak of the devil, and actually a player behind could be conceding this round. Pesadelo's spray not quite there to deliver, but actually gets 2 kills from this. I thought he had no chance, and now it's allowed that retrieval to
break some glass, put some pressure. There is a player just ahead of him, though. That's Pesadelo. He's able to get 1, but Electronic is very quick to trade, and so this will allow a bomb plant for NaVi.
Electronic and boomich up against skullz and maluk. The HP does favor them. The firepower also favors NaVi in these positions. maluk has the AWP, but no reason to peek him at this point. The bomb is planted out in the open. And there's a flash and a smoke, but not much else on the collective belt of Team 1. boomich goes down first. Electronic gets perforated straight afterwards from the M4. Team 1 successfully get the retake and successfully take the first half. Trail, but they can easily bounce back if this second pistol goes in their way. Flashes and mollies, but they're going to line up for Electronic. Only gets 1 in the meanwhile, though, on PRT. Puts him down pretty quickly afterwards. Simple gets aggressive with the CZ. Straight through on Squeaky. Takes down his adversary and then pulls the plug afterwards. Pesadelo around the back, though. Takes them both down with ease. In a 1-on-4, he's half the odds, but still needs to get onto the site where the bomb is currently there waiting for him, and the timing nearly works against him. He could be getting flanked in as well from vents. He realizes this, but he's been tagged down to 31 HP. There's still a minute to play with, but just a full-on purchase at this stage. They don't have really much in surplus. They're going to be trying to get out aggressively. malbs, so aggressive, but all the kills after him go the way firmly of NaVi. And Pesadelo's already down to 36. He gets torn down a peg. Looking to try and get some more aggression, but walks out into the double stack. And it's Simple's AUG that will have the final word. maluk made... Team 1 slowing it down somewhat, but there's now going to be a flurry of grenades firing their way on towards the hut. Molotovs, flashes, smokes, everything tossed in. But NaVi have got that blockade set up. The impenetrable defense, the fortress, has been put into place again, and considering that they tossed nearly everything they had onto the site and they've only lost casualties, they've only taken pain. Now they've got a smoke and flash left. They're going to try and do what they can to limp their way towards the site, but they're being culled where they stand. Yes, PRT gets a frag and maybe even a second onto Electronic. if he's not careful. There's not really much he can do about this, to be fair. He needs someone to come and help him out. Now flamie is the man to do the job.
He's just jumping over bullets.
He's literally dodging bullets left and right while flamie comes in to clean up the rest. And although he'll... Oh yeah, they're on the fast track to securing map 2, and they nearly lined up for a collateral. Simple. Probably couldn't believe his eyes for a second as he pulled the trigger. He gets one, does get counted instantly by malbs. And they've already quickly maneuvered their way into garage, but Electronic is here. malbs picks up his... going to be aggressed on. They have 2 players watching the same position, so now Electronic can turn his attention elsewhere. He's given his position away. PRT! That Ferrari peak headshot.
Control now. flamie is still here, and he throws down a well-timed incendiary. They're actually running through it, and they're getting caught up by...
It's a madness to me they tried to push that incendiary. They lost so much from that. Electronic puts the bullets down range and secures the kill onto Maluk, but Perfectro is probably just a couple of seconds away from getting a double. I say that, and malbs just dry peeks, takes his head clean off. It's a great cost to his HP, though, but he's gone in for another one. Wasn't anticipated.
Fair. Still have been showing us some good rounds here and there on this T side, so still certainly in contention on this map.
With one, tries to transition into that second spray, and his spray was sloppy at the end. Electronic, though, nearly gets to drop onto multiple players. Simple at the back of the site, gets one, but just...
And as Team 1 were able to duck and weave underneath them, they were able to deal their own body blows and find an 11th round. Again, not letting NaVi's lead ever...
But it's more the case of how these last few rounds have been swinging in, and it's another very aggressive round from Team 1. They've perfectly pincered straight through any other gun than the USP, and maybe some kills have been forthcoming, but the AK has now shown itself. Pushing through is flamie. Round the back towards lobby, but the AWP is up to the task.
This round in that regard. As Simple trying to look for some exits here. We'll find one. Finds another available to do so. So ramp control will be taken by Team 1. They will be able to use this as a foundation to build probably towards outside. He has a PRT, and he's not done yet, perhaps, but no
one, and now it's looking pretty bleak as they come up heaven slowly. Electronic will show no chill, no prisoners taken, only bullets barrage down onto the oncoming tees. They'll try and wrap around lobby. At the meanwhile, there's flashes coming in. It's a good flash at that, and does afford them a bit of safe passage, but Perfecto is already in prime position to strike this one down. Last man standing is malbs, but
PRT probably towards outside if I had to guess based on the patterns we've seen in previous rounds. Pesadelo, though, big catch onto boombl. They start unlocking this upper sight. skullz on the Perfecto. That's going to reinforce it, and all of a sudden, Team 1, they have a way to plant, and they've put NaVi in a spot where they do not feel comfortable probably trying to go for the
fruition. Team 1 so clean on the pushes, but there's a bit of
from T1 due to a great entry through Squeaky Hall from Pesadelo. And again, Team 1 looking to test the waters at upper, but boombl was there early this time inside the hut. But again, they're getting the favorable trades. Luckily, Electronic gets that kill on Mini, and that gives NaVi some hope thanks to flamie's efforts as well.
Pesadelo 1-on-3 to try and touch this one down and really hurt NaVi. Put the beating onto them.
Trying to slow down any type of fast pushes, and Electronic playing up close. Outer finds his man and more. 2 big kills from Electronic.
It's looking like Team 1 may have run out of a bit of steam. Finally, NaVi's superior firepower is rising to the top, but so is...
When they concede the site itself, they have all the kits they need, as well as, you know, nades for nade stacking, all that good stuff. flamie, though, takes out PRT, so it may not even come to that.
Spot the shoulder around the corner, but flamie will not
be seemingly doing their part, Vince, to stay in playoff contention. Again, those other series are still going on, though. There's other determining factors, and we see flamie, though, lighting up 2 more, Vince. It's looking like the end.
Simple missing a shot that you'd expect him to land. Reputation preceding him, but the slow peak doesn't really fare well for the T's. They just swarm Simple, though. So finally, the talisman has been laid to rest. Could be the last.
Maybe even a way to vent up, but no, they will plant lower. Now it's going to come down to the NaVi retake with man advantage.
Luke in a good position. I think that scope in gave his spot away. Allowed boombl to stay alive a little bit longer. Electronic making sure Shadow is clear. Molotov does just that, player down to the right-hand side. There's only a certain amount of spots at this point that players could be residing in. NaVi should be checking their angles, but skullz spins around for 2 out of nowhere, and now it comes down to Perfectro, who connects the headshot downtown onto Maluk and saves the round and takes NaVi to a 2.